Oil palm and palm oil.
The production of oil palm and palm oil of Thailand and other Asian countries. Oil palm is a vegetable oil with lot of nutritional benefits, and it can be used as raw materials or feedstock in other industries, such as delicatessen, instant noodles, cosmetics, industries that use olefins as raw material, and the production of biodiesel, etc. Oil palm is cultivated only about 42 countries worldwide because the area is suitable for oil palm plantations located between latitude 10 north, below the equator, or up to latitude 20 north, below the equator. Malaysia and Indonesia is the world major oil palm producer, and Thailand also has advantage location to plant oil palm, and it can be grown well. Countries that produce oil palm classified by oil production capacity can divide it into three groups. 1. There are 11 countries that produce oil exceeds demand in the country, but there are 4 countries that exports vegetable oil, which are Malaysia, Indonesia, the United States and Brazil. 2. There are 18 countries that produce sufficient vegetable oil for the domestic demand, which Thailand is a country that belongs in this group. 3. There are 47 countries that produce enough vegetable oil for the domestic demand. Countries that are major importers, such as Russia, China, North Korea, South Korea, India, Pakistan, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Production of oil palm. The top 5 provinces that grow oil palm are Krabi, Saratani, Chumphan, Prachuapkharikan, and Nakhon Si Thammarat. The production of palm oil in Thailand has been increased continuously. It is produced by 1. Farmers, 2. Companies and cooperatives, unlike Indonesia and Malaysia, which are the major manufacturers in the world. The production of oil palm in Thailand is facing problems in raising production efficiency and competitiveness with palm oil in world markets. An increase in the production of oil palm in Thailand mostly comes from the expansion of cultivated areas, not causing by the efficiency of production by increasing yields per acre. When compared with Malaysia, palm fruit quality and yield in Thailand is still low, and the purchase of oil palm fruits in Thailand still lacks a standard for determining the price. ASEAN is the world's largest producers of oil palm oil, especially in Indonesia and Malaysia, which ranked as number 1 and 2 the manufacturer in the world. Although Indonesia has more planted area than Malaysia, the overall productivity is lower, because Malaysia has the better production technology and uses integrated planting from palm oil plantation to refineries within the same company or group. Therefore, the production planning and controlling production costs can be done effectively. Oil palm farmer of Malaysia is in the form of company. The production of palm oil is a vegetable oil, which tends to have a growth of related industries in Thailand compared to other vegetable oils. It also has the highest potential for oil production due to the growth of the industries that require palm oil as raw material to produce vegetable oil to consume and use in other industries. The guidelines in oil palm plantations expansion as raw material for biodiesel production is considered as an expansion of industry to support oil palm to use as a renewable energy source. Malaysia is a country of the world's largest palm oil producer. It was first cultivated as ornamental plants, and later it was grown as agricultural crops for trading. The government has started to expand as the palm oil industry in order to comply with program of agricultural diversification of Malaysia, and increase revenue other than revenue from rubber exporting, which at that time the rubber is Malaysia's main exports. Later, Malaysia has a policy of developing countries to be industrialized country. They began refining crude palm oil in 2000 BE. 2543, and developed palm oil industry by expanding into the oleochemical and palm kernel industry, which currently is the world's second largest palm oil producer. Palm oil production in Thailand and ASEAN countries. Consumption and use of palm oil in Thailand. Consumption and the use of crude palm oil of Thailand is based on 3 main objectives, including producing vegetable oil, producing refined palm oil for exporting, and producing biodiesel. The tendency to use is growing by using to produce vegetable oil, and palm oil is used to produce biodiesel since 2007 BE 2550. Consumption and the use of crude palm oil in Thailand. Unit, tons of crude palm oil. Source, Department of Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce. Exports and imports of palm oil in Thailand. Even if Thailand is the world's 3rd largest producer of palm oil, the proportion is still very low. When compared with Indonesia and Malaysia, the export of palm oil of Thailand is likely to increase. However, it was dropped in 2009 BE 2552, because of decreasing in crude oil prices. As a result, the demand for energy has decreased. Thailand palm oil exporters have to face production costs that is higher than the world market. Thailand trading partners are India, Myanmar, and Malaysia. Although Malaysia is the largest manufacturer and exporter of palm oil in the world, they still import palm oil from Thailand. One palm oil price of Thailand and Malaysia are similar to process and add value to resell. Malaysia palm oil production is mainly for industrial use, so there are color and wax mixed in the oil, while Thailand focuses on production for consumption, which need to produce higher quality oil. This could make production cost higher than Malaysia. However, exporting to Malaysia has non-tariff measures that must be faced, including import licensing procedures. Palm oil export of Thailand unit, million US dollars. Imports. Although Thailand manufactures and exports palm oil, there is still a need to import more palm oil by importing from Indonesia and Malaysia. Palm oil importing depends on the demand in the country, including import support of the Public Warehouse Organization, because it must follow the policies of the government to protect the palm oil production in the country. Oil palm import of Thailand unit, million US dollars. The marketing position of oil palm and palm oil of Thailand in the ASEAN market. 1. The marketing position of oil palm of Thailand in the ASEAN market. Oil palm is the plant that Indonesia and Malaysia can produce, the largest and the second largest in the world, and export to world markets abundantly. When considered only the ASEAN market, Thailand is a country that exports oil palm in the form of oil palm seed and oil palm kernel in this market the most, which make Thailand has the second highest market share in ASEAN market, whereas Malaysia has the highest market share. 2. The marketing position of palm oil of Thailand in the ASEAN market. Currently, Indonesia is the largest palm oil producer in the world, which can export to the global market abundantly. When considered only the ASEAN market, it is found that Indonesia is number 1 palm oil exporter and has market share after Malaysia, while Thailand is ranked as number 3, which has low market share when compared with Malaysia and Indonesia. Market share and growth rate of palm oil export of countries in the ASEAN market. Growth rate and market share of palm oil export in the ASEAN market.